Good morning, everyone. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to Vlogmas, day 23. What is this? Day 23. We're on to day 23 of Vlogmas. It's chucking it down today. It's a miserable day out there. Painted my nails last night. I watched another terrible Christmas film. That one was particularly bad. Is it called I Believe in Santa Claus? It was on Netflix. Anyway, not a great film. And then I've just finished editing the video. As you can see, it is uploading. I'll adjust that so the screen's not in it and flickering for you. And then the bubs have the zoomies, which is always nice. They tend to get the zoomies when it's raining. And yeah, just a bit of a chill evening yesterday. It was quite nice. Mary went to bed early, watched a bit more Kirsty's Handmade Christmas. I panicked because Kimchi was sick this time. I don't know what's up with the bubs. I think they keep munching the tree, so we're just going to have to keep an eye on them. But she seems fine today. She's running around like a headless chicken. They're chasing each other, as you can hear. They're having a lovely time. It's currently 10 past 11, which is a bit late. In all honesty, it's later than I wanted it to be. But I was going to wait for this to finish uploading so I could actually turn the computer off before going down the dye shed. We've got friends coming over this evening for dinner, which will be very nice. And so I need to tidy up the house a little bit. We did some yesterday, in all fairness, did some more gift wrapping and all of that fun stuff. But I thought I would do Advent time now, while I've got the light. Advent time? Early doors Advent time. I have 3 Advent calendars. 3 of them. We have the Chromatic Yarns Advent calendar. That is my own hand-dyed yarn. All of my yarn is dyed in colours inspired by Dungeons & Dragons. We also have the Cast View Yarns Advent calendar, which is a lovely fade through mermaid colours. And then we have a Bird and Blend tea Advent calendar that they were so kind to send to me as a gift, for I am an affiliate with them. And I checked this morning, they still have some on their website. So if you want a little pick-me-up through January, feel free, check it out, description box, it's down there. Jen and I got the memo once again, twinning, matching. On day 23, we are the same. It's happened too many times, So we are going to start out with Chromatic Yarns. I've torn the bag. Smooth. Oh, yes, I love this one. I love this one. Once again, it's not one I usually dye. It's not my usual colour palette. But this is Owl Bear. It's inspired by an owl bear. I put some reddish speckles in because I imagined the owl bear would be eating berries. Because it's an... Hello? That's Mario's phone. Because it's an owl bear. Ladies! Please hold. I just had to give them a bit of a telling off. So owl bears have a body of a bear but a face of an owl. They're actually quite cute looking, but I don't really like fighting them in D&D because they're a bit ferocious. But for some reason I imagined this one eating berries. But now I realise it's a bit red, so it could be that they've just mauled someone. The goal was berries, but you know, we may have ended up with accidental mauling. Next up we have Castle View Yarns. Oh, I've just torn that bag completely. Jen, your stickers are very sticky. Ooh, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. It's nice though. This colourway is called Shantara Shimmertail. I think that's the pronunciation. Sorry if I've messed it up. So we've gone a bit lighter in the minty green, and then we've got some neon greeny yellow speckles and some turquoisey speckles. And they're very... Mate, how does she do the dainty speckles? It will forever baffle me. Forever baffle me. Stunning. Beautiful. But yeah, I just butchered that bag completely. Hello? Miso, will you leave her alone? If she doesn't want to play, she doesn't want to play. So, and then we've got Bird and Blend Tea Advent. And today's tea is mascarpone and sour cherry. It's backwards in my viewfinder. It's not that I can't read. It's backwards in my viewfinder, and also this is white writing on a very light blue background. But it's mascarpone and sour cherry, sweet creamy ice cream and sour cherry. Steep without milk. It's an oolong tea. Apple pieces, rose hip hibiscus, freeze-dried cherry, cranberry, orange peel, morello cherries, and natural flavouring. Well, that smells nice. And yeah, enjoy without milk. And the good thing about oolong is you can reuse the tea leaves / the bag a few times. Fun fact, didn't know if you knew that. If you did know that, then you learnt nothing new. They're having quite the standoff. Kimchi's ears are like this. And Miso's like, what have I done? Bless him, very cute. Right, I need to get my butt down the dye shed because I keep talking myself out of it. So I'm going to go down the dye shed before I can talk myself out of it again. Hey folks, we're in the dye shed. We have a terrible angle, but welcome to the dye shed. Not as cold in here as when I came in here last time I was in here, but saying that, I am currently shivering. I also don't have that many layers on, so that is 100% my fault. But yeah, time to finally dye up the yarn club. What is my hair? Whatever, you know what? One of those days. Got friends coming around later. It's gonna be like, oh, sorry I look like this. Right, let's get the picture up and organise what I'm actually going to do. I always get so nervous dyeing up new colourways. Some people are very organised with their yarn club and like do like a test dye. I don't tend to do a test dye. If the first time I try the colourway it's absolutely awful, I learn from that mistake and do it a bit differently. But as a general rule, I fly by the seat of my pants. And thus far, touch wood, it has worked for me. So let's see if I can keep this going. This is the inspiration picture, by the way. It is Dusk from Critical Role, also known as You. I'm not going to share any spoilers, but the colourway name is Betrayal. So we've got some pastel-y colours, quite dark colours, and yeah. Got to try and make like an opal-y essence. We'll see what I can do. So starting off strong, we have water to the dye shed. Yes, you may see in this why I didn't want to lug water up and down the garden, because I actually use a lot of water. And I know a lot of people do lug water up and down the garden, but I wasn't about to be one of those people. So this is me soaking yarn, because it's important to soak yarn before you dye it so the dye kind of penetrates through the yarn. I don't personally use any like washing up liquid or even citric acid in. I just use water to soak my yarn, but everyone has their own techniques. Here I am putting reusable zip ties on my yarn because it stops it getting tangled while you dye it, because it gives you somewhere to grab. You can grab the black zip tie and it makes it so much easier, and these are reusable, so I mean they snap eventually because they're still plastic. But when I got my dye shed all kitted out, the guy had a heater, a spare heater, and he installed it. Do I use it? No, not really. But you know what? It's on right now. And, oh, it's actually quite toasty warm. I'll just have this on for a little bit until I actually start dyeing yarn, because then I'll likely get too hot. But until then, I'm very grateful for that man having a random heater that he gave to me for free. Thanks. So now it's time to pick out the dyes. I tend to have my reference picture up, which you can see on my phone, so I can choose the right colours that I want to use. And I've used most of my dyes at this point, so I know what colours they are. I always over choose. I always pick way more than I need because it's chaos under there. My dye shelf is awful, and then I just put them back when I don't end up using them. I do have a whole video on where I buy my dyeing supplies. If you are interested in seeing that, it's over on my channel. I believe I have a folder called Yarn Dyeing. Of playlist is the word I want. And yeah, this is just me laying yarn in the trays. I can fit 4 skeins of yarn in a tray. Some techniques I do where I twist the yarn, I can fit 6 skeins of yarn in a tray. I have been known to fit 8 skeins of yarn in a tray, but it is a bit of a squish. So I don't like to do that too often, but I can fit 4 skeins in a tray, which is quite nice. And then while that's doing, I need to get some more yarn soaking so it can be ready for me to dye. And as you can see, I'm adding even more water because the last lot of yarn soaked loads up, which is exactly what we want. So I'd be walking up and down the garden so much. So here I am sprinkling citric acid. Do I measure it? No, I measure with my heart. And then, yeah, it's always important to wear a mask while you're dealing with acid dyes and powder dyes. It's so stylish. I chose green for the Grinch today. I should have an actual respirator, but I don't know. I'm a bit scared of them, I won't lie, like getting them fitted and everything. And yeah, it's just time to start playing with dye, having a good time playing with colours, which is exactly what we like to do. And I tried to not make it obvious what the final colourway is going to be. I've tried to keep it subtle. I've cut some bits out, and you'll notice I'm not wearing a mask, but that is because my glasses steam up with a mask on. So as soon as the dye is mixed, mask comes off, I pour it so I can actually see what I'm doing. Steamy, it gets steamy in there. Floor to the dye shed. If you need a toilet, I gotta go all the way into the house and upstairs to go, because we don't have a downstairs toilet, because it's old house. But yeah, that is one floor to the dye shed. I need a toilet down here because it's very annoying to have to stop, turn off the heater, turn off the airers, switch off the electricity to run to the toilet to run back. And I gotta go out in the rain, but I have to do it because I need the loo. But I haven't lost it. I thought I'd lost it. I don't think I've lost it. I obviously haven't rinsed these colourways yet. This is still tray 1. But I'm excited. I'm excited. It's very different to what I would normally dye, but at the same time not really. Very excited. I love dyeing based on a picture. I find it very inspiring. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I need the loo. So a yarn dyeing day where you can't see the colour of the yarn that I'm dyeing. Not the most exciting thing to film. Also quite repetitive. This is my yak base, by the way. It's naturally a grey colour before you even put dye on it, which I think is delightful. I love it. One of the stressful things about dyeing up the yarn club, I have found, is people trust you. I love it, don't get me wrong. I love that people trust me. However, people trust me enough to buy a sweater's quantity of a yarn they haven't even seen yet. And that's stressful because I don't want to let people down. I don't want to disappoint them. And then people are buying 6 skeins of a yak base and I'm just like, oh, okay. I gotta make it good now. I mean, I needed to make it good anyway, but you know what I mean. There's pressure in a garment. That's a lot of money someone is spending with me. I can't disappoint them. I grabbed a Diet Coke whilst I was inside. We're on to trays number 3 and 4. I'm about to rinse 1 and 2, and I've got yarn ready to go into soak when this yarn goes in the tray. There's a cycle, there's a system. I'm very grateful to have this space because it makes the system work. I mean, I had to make the system happen here because you may remember from Vlogmas last year, I was very negative about my dye shed. I didn't like it, but that's because I hadn't worked out my system yet. Now I've worked out my system. I love dyeing yarn in here, and I never want to not dye yarn in here. So, never want to dye yarn anywhere else, unless there's an easy way to do it. A lot of my friends have like the warming cabinets now, and that's amazing. I love it. It's not where I'm at the moment. I mean, sure, it would be very helpful, but a lot of the people that have it either are on a bigger scale, sorry, I'm just cleaning up as I get, you know how, they're either on a bigger scale than, ooh, that lid's not on, bigger scale than me, or they have offspring, or both. So, I'm not at that level yet, so maybe much further on down the line, if ever children happen, or I scale up, then that will be a thing. But as of right now, we're dyeing on 2 induction burners and I got 2 pans on the go at once. It works, it works. So it's pretty steamy in here. I'm on to tray 7 and 8. Then I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trays in total. Unlucky for some, hopefully not for me. And yeah, I'm just putting the zip ties on the merino sock. Dyeing up yak sock, a little stressful. I do find it quite stressful to dye up, mainly because when it's dark, no, when it's wet, it's so dark, and applying dye is very much a leap of faith. You kind of have to hope that it looks okay when it's dry, because obviously, much like paint, when you paint paint a wall or whatever, it's much darker when it's wet than when it's dry. So same with yak. And so when you're dyeing colour on top of really dark grey, it's very difficult to see how it is going to look when it's dry, you know, because the skein that's in there at the moment doesn't look like it has much dye on at all, and it has the exact same as the other one. So we're being optimistic. We're hoping that it works. But I will say, very proud of this colourway. I think it's very nice. And it's a little bit different from what I usually dye up. But is it? Okay, no, it's not. It's not. We've got standard fun colours with a touch of speckling. It's not that different, but yeah, just doing the thing. It's, you know, one step at a time. It's pretty repetitive. We're at that point of dyeing now when we're just kind of going through the motions. We're doing the thing, going through the motions, and just continuing. Oh, that's a point. I need to film a reel of me dyeing this up so I can actually share what the colourway looks like at some point. I used to do it in the last week of the month, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to post it. So, yeah. As always, I did not want to be dyeing yarn when I got up this morning. I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered to dye yarn. But now I've started, I'm like, fantastic, I feel fab, I'm so glad I'm doing this. And that is what I am like when I dye yarn. Starting it, always way worse than actually doing it. So I just need to perpetually keep remembering that and keep actually dyeing the yarn. Hello, can you tell it's humid in here? What is happening? You're going to be like, Hannah, you look the same, what are you talking about? So those are the final 4 skeins I need to dye, other than the 8 that are soaking. This is the state of this hand because I've just filmed footage for the reel and I can't use my phone with gloves on, so I have to do it one-handed, and then obviously, as in gloved, one hand is gloved and also one hand is filming, so I guess I have to. Anyway, regardless, this is what the sitch is. This is where we wear gloves because my spoons are absolutely covered in dye, so is the side. So you know what, we do what we can. I try and keep it as tidy as possible, but at the same time I'm not very good at keeping it tidy, so I try. But yes, I'm on to dyeing up the last base, which is merino sock. Yeah, so I've got trays 9 and 10 going, then we've got 11 and 12 soaking, and then that was 13 that I have just zip tied and is ready to go. Time check, 2:08. Goal is be done by 3:30, because then I have an hour to make myself look presentable and to make my house look presentable before it's invaded by a toddler and a baby and the parents of toddler and baby. So yeah, exciting times ahead. You might be sick of this camera angle, but I think it's the only safe one. I've just decided to pop a terrible Christmas film on my phone. What's it called? Careful, careful, careful. Ooh, baking all the way. Baking all the way. I thought, to jazz me up for being Mario's bakery buddy, I definitely was going to use a different B word just then, for the next 2 days. This will gear me up nicely. Hopefully, I will keep you posted. It's on the BBC. Baking all the way was fine. It wasn't fantastic, but it was perfect background noise whilst I was cleaning up, because something you will learn if you want to become a yarn dyer is just how much cleanup there is, because you need to scrub everywhere, because if there's a tiny speck of dye anywhere and that gets on a skein and you don't want it to be that colour, then that skein is ruined and then you can't use it for the colour you want to use. Turquoise and magenta get everywhere. Even if you haven't used them that day, you can find turquoise dye, and yeah, it's frustrating. I scrub the outside of my pans as well, and just every single thing that you use you have to clean. I mean, obviously there is burn marks on my pans, but they're also fine to use, like nothing transfers, and yeah, some people sort of stack up their trays and do a big wash all at once, but that would drive me mad, so I do it after every single dye day. I try to clean down as much as possible. Sometimes if I'm overly tired, then I don't bother with this bit I'm doing right now, but I don't know when I'm next dyeing yarn, so I thought I'll do a nice proper clean. I'll put the induction hobs away and I'll properly scrub that counter, because it was filthy. This has made me realise how much kitchen roll I get through, and I actually need to not use kitchen roll. I need to actually use the sponges that I have. But I like kitchen roll because it dries it as it cleans it, so it's not all wet, and then I can go in and clean it again. Yeah, 3 attempts and I still had dye on the kitchen roll at the end. So yeah, hope you like cleaning, because that's what you're going to do if you want to be a yarn dyer. Oh. Hey folks, it is the same day. I've just changed jumper. My friends have just left with their offspring, and Mario's just gone to bed because he needs to get up at midnight. I need to get to the bakery for 7 AM tomorrow morning. I might attempt to drive. I should. I've done that route so many times and it's like a 10-minute journey. It's so short. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. A bit of a different one. I'm sorry that I couldn't explicitly show you what I was dyeing, but it is a mystery yarn club, so I do have to withhold some of the mystery. But if you'd like to subscribe, that would be delightful. I'm posting a video here every day for the next 2 days. Feels a bit pointless saying that now. But I do also post regularly outside of Christmas time. So the cat's about to jump on the back of the sofa and you're very precariously balanced. And please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out. And leave me a comment down below. What have you been up to? Have you finished work for Christmas? Have you broken up? What's going on? The daily check-in. We love to see it. And there's something else that I usually say. Can I remember? No. Links to all sorts of kinds of things are in the description box below. If you would like to check that out, that would be delightful. It takes me time to type it all out. So if you want to scope that out, Fabaruni. Right, I'm about to go give the bubs their dinner whilst I transfer these files across, and then I'll be going to bed. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in tomorrow's video. Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. Not for me. For you, it will be Christmas Eve. For me, it's the 23rd. But Christmas Eve, how exciting.